If that's the case, if the government and whether this happens at local levels or at federal levels, if ultimately it doesn't matter which party wins, it doesn't matter which candidate wins, they're going to do the same. They're going to do what the owners want. Then voting.
So I think
just something that makes us feel good.
I think it depends on at what level that end is that you're referring to. So.
Well, is it really true that that's what happens? Is it really true?
No. I think there's levels to it. There's, okay, here in America, let's say, yeah, at the end, eventually, at some point, to some level of people whose names we don't know, they're controlling things and they get some output. However, we can still live our lives freely to an extent, whereas you take other countries, we'll use historical examples, Soviet Russia, where they still had the control and they still controlled the output, but they were
That's a good point.
The freedom for the people were on a much more restricted level. So,
living in a controlled environment where you don't get to do what you want, and living in a controlled environment where you do get to do what you want. I mean, the second one's better.
And it's all about adjusting.
As I understand it, yeah.
It's all about adjusting the distance between our freedom and the determined.
Are they able to extract what they want from us without? And by the way, I don't want to cross over into the elite control of the world thing, because I mean that
we're close.
I do love that topic.
We're close.
But
we're right on the fringe.
I'm just sticking with the idea that it's the big money, it's the big corporations, it's the big industry, it's the special interest group, it's the lobbyists, right? So
I think there are certain truths to that, but I don't think it's that black and white as most things aren't. I mean, just like, as I'm thinking through this, as you look at what happened in this last election that for the presidency, Trump, Biden.
Yeah.
I know many people, family, etc., that voted one particular way only because they hated the other one so much. And you can probably guess how they voted on that. But at the end of the day, Biden's administration's in. I just don't feel that the outputs of the Biden administration right now, if there's this machine in the background, is the same as what you would have if Trump were in there.
Fair point.
So I think the outputs would change and based on the vote of who's in the office. So I do think there is a change that can take place. I don't know how much we can influence it, though.
It's a good point, because even at a local level, we saw when the local Harris County leadership changed, there was a change in the way business was being done.
Yes.
Now,
like all those, they're not the
it
same
also happened
friends.
right in the middle of COVID and everything else, so it's hard to compare.
My allegiance is over here is with Roy. I've been giving him the back. He's got side deals. I've made side deals with it. Now Roy's gone.
Right.
And I don't care for the new judge or whomever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, it's a good point.
I do think there's still an aspect. I think the truth of the big corporations, the big pharma, the lobbyists, special interest groups, they're still marching towards the same goal, but the way that they have to navigate the new administration will change.
So the output is different depending on who's...
For some period of time. Yeah.